Welcome back to AI War, everybody. The Spirecraft Showdown continues. Now, if you're paying close attention, you might notice a little over half an hour has gone by, and I've done a few things. And it's a good thing, by the way, that I did them, because time was a little closer than I thought. I cleared out everything here in Europa. You can see literally all we've got is like a scout and this command station. Everything else is gone, so I totally wiped that out. Took a little bit of time, knocked out the wormhole guard posts even. Didn't want to deal with all those reinforcements. Now I don't have to. Then we went into Friend Commuter and knocked out the Dire Guardian lair in here. You can see not a whole lot left in here at the moment. And this was actually pretty close. They were about 7-8 minutes away from producing Dire Guardian by the time I had my beachhead up and knocked down the lair. And of course, the Vengeful AI did not appreciate that. Then we did the same thing in Varuna. And this being a Mark IV system, and actually we haven't quite got everything out of here, because we just finished this one up. But there were several guard posts in here, so I did the whole trick with moving the transports in and out, eventually went out and wiped them. So I had to be a little bit careful. But now I'm not going to bother with the wormhole guard posts in here. They won't get that many reinforcements to that system. So that's gone, and I can get rid of that label. So what we're doing now is they have a big reprisal coming to Cybele. We're going to deal with that, and then it's time to expand further towards eventually getting to Coruscant. But we've got some other things to do first. So, and when I say big, I mean big. The second Dire Guardian layer didn't go as well. I got a little too adventurous with my my Mark V viral shredders and basically got them wiped out. They were doing a really good job of replicating on the other ones, but they had an MLRS and a Spider Dire Guardian, and they were a little bit more hazardous. So that was a bit of a mistake. But the bottom line is that and some other things that we lost in there. They had a Raider Guardian, Dire Guardian, that just lasted longer than I wish it had. So over 1,000 ships, 6 starships. So I've brought in most of my fleet in here. But I just wanted to make sure that we're fully ready in here. I could have built up some more turrets, maybe deployed some of the heavy beam cannons, finally decided not to do that. And okay, here we go. So yeah, they're going to knock out a whole bunch of stuff. Let's see what we're looking at. Bunch of iBots, 96 Sentinel frigates. I've put up an extra anti-sniper turret to help deal with those in here. 5 plasma sieges. Now, thankfully, they're all Mark 1s. I want to keep those away. 88 mini rams. Those will not be too useful for them, given that we have our, grav turrets pretty much do a number on those. So, I think we're going to be okay in here. But we're going to take a look. And, of course, they've got some gravity rippers. A lot of this is just having the firepower to knock them down, but they're already down to about 2/3 of their original numbers. Will we get rid of the fleet ships by the time the starships show up? It looks like for the most part we're going to handle that. We've got the Maws swallowing a few. Okay, now they're trying to run away already, but the starships looks like they're wanting to hang around. So let's continue on with those. I still have 5 of them. Still got 5 of these plasma sieges. And there go my my viral shredders trying to do their thing. And are these immune to? Yeah, they're immune to fusion cutters. So my viral shredders can't really do anything to them. They're down to... Okay, there they go. So now all that's gone. We're going to clean up the rest of this. Alright, so all that's wrapped up. And it's time to look a little bit at our final push. Okay, so it's time to take a look now at the final push towards the Showdown. I want to put all the pieces in place, figure out exactly what I want to do here. And one of the questions I thought about that's been sort of sticking in the back of my head is, do I want Mark IV Starship Constructor? And to find those will be one of these 2 systems in here. And by the way, this is going to be important in a bit. You can see the Hunter group is reconstituted. They're all in there. So we're going to have to deal with that in a second. But I decided I don't really want to do that. I haven't done, other than the one brief attempt early on with the Rams, I have not done anything with the Spirecraft. And I did still want to feature them in this. And I think I'm going to be able to later. When we get to the Showdown, I'm going to build some things, probably at least some shield bearers, maybe some other things, using my extra energy on those rather than starships. for whatever we're going to do towards the end with the Showdown, and hopefully after that the homeworlds. That's the direction I want to go in. So I didn't really want to... Plus we're going to have a big enough empire as it is with getting all the turrets. That's that. And then originally, I mentioned this earlier, I wanted to go after Ganymede. And, you know, that was for the Flak turrets there, and then Ganymede is really huge as a linchpin for us, because from there we can go down to this area, we can work our way up here, get to Coruscant, all of those things. So we have to take Ganymede, or at least a system near Ganymede, but I decided to switch to Saturn. Basically, it's just, we're probably going to hit some strategic reserve in here, maybe not, but we probably will. But over here is actually just as good. Look, for the path that goes up this way, we have to go through Chiriclo. And, you know, both Saturn and Ganymede have to take that one jump. They both are relatively equally defensive, fairly good but not great defensive positions in the system. They each have a core turret controller that I want, so I'm going to, whichever one I take, I want to hack the other one. And then this is just easier. It's a jump closer to us, which is really going to help because the transports would die when they went into this one. And so I think it's going to be easier to grab the system, get our foothold over here, and then defend it and expand. And part of that, again, is part of the Hunter group, because they're going to come and smash in here, I'm sure, like fairly shortly after we arrive, depending on where they fly off to in the meantime. So I didn't want to, you know, couldn't find any good reason not to go there. And then Tethys is going to be our launching off point. We're going to trigger the raid eye on the way in, but so what? But this is 4 hops, and that's 5. So then from here, there's a couple of things we need to do. One is I was wrong about the civilian leaders. There's another one in Utapau, and there's also another data center. Obviously getting that as soon as we can, which after we get Saturn, we'll get the range to get there. And then also, we're going to want to come down here for sniper turrets. We're going to want to come down here for the spiders. We're going to hack for the armor rotters, I'm sure, in there eventually. We'll want to knock out a bunch of this stuff. This is going to be a dangerous system. Obviously, Kashyyyk, a core world, is going to be even more dangerous. So we're going to want to deal with cleaning those out as soon as we get down here, and that'll trigger a whole bunch more of vengeful attacks. And then once all of that is through, I still think we're going to totally skip the super terminal here. And then we're going to want to go ahead and plow our way into Coruscant. And another thing that I forgot about is I do eventually need to take Varda, the Spire archive that's there. And I'll want to do that before we trigger this as well. Because we're going to skip Makimaki, but we have to get all but one of those A prime core shield generators. So I don't really have a choice in that. I think that's the last one. I think that's the last core shield generator I need to get. But it's got to go. And so that means 1, 2, 3, 4 more systems. 19. And that's going to boost our air progress up even further. And we're probably going to have a hard time keeping it much below 200 at this point. There's still quite a bit of work that I need to get done. There's actually more than I expected. First things first, let's head off to Saturn and see if we can, because I'd really like to defend against the Hunter group when they show up with just my fleet. I'm at a point where I feel like I should be able to do that, if not now, then soon. And I'd like to stop blowing up warheads to knock them out. So if I can make that work this time, we're definitely going to do it. Okay, now here is Saturn, and the picture here is mostly friendly to us, really. I want to get set up in here as quickly as possible because I never know how long the Hunter group's going to take. And you can see that our transports, some of them very close to being gone. What I want to do here, first of all, is let's just knock out this tachyon. And that way nothing can shoot at us. There we go. And go dark. Okay, now there's not much here in the way of ships at all. There's no eyes, there's no anything. There's a few guard posts. But what I want to do is I want to eliminate the command station shield guard post, knock out the command station, and then just get set up right away. So, in general, I pretty much just want to send everything this way, because nothing should detect it on the way over there. And of course, that's where we're going to build. That's our turret controller. And our cone of defense will be headed off this way. And right about there is probably good. Now we want to dump out everything that's going to be useful to us immediately for getting rid of these quickly. Yeah, that's most of my starships, so we'll unload those here. There we go. Our Maws, our Sentinel frigates, our Scouts, and our Youngling Tigers. And why all of those? Well, because they're not going to be affected too much by the ion cannons. They can't be insta-killed. Okay, then everything else is our low-level fleet ships, and they can just go ahead and float off over there. So let's see if this works. All right, now they're going to go away. And they aren't cloaked yet. So the Shield Guardian is going to be annoyed by them temporarily. But we want to take all of this and go hammer the command station immediately. Or the guard, but there we go. Knock out the command station. Beautiful. Okay. We're up over 150, but more importantly, we're in position. And, you know, we could go around and knock out more of this stuff, but I'm just going to defend here. So everybody come over in this general vicinity. And again, like, their ships here are basically non-existent, and that's fine. What few they had, we've already knocked out. Unload colony ship. And then put up our logistics. And I want to get my defenses set up like yesterday. Right about there. And we're hoping, of course, to keep all of this stuff in until we can take control of the system and get the ion cannons. And actually, I should knock out these. I'll knock them out while this is building, because I don't want them firing at my ion cannons. I want them to stay healthy. And there's nothing over here. We already knocked out the special forces here from range. So really all we got to do is get rid of the Needler. And that will be no problem at all. Just send a few starships over there. And then we'll see what happens. And look at the threat. 1,000. Why do we have 1,000? There's that many threat that got ticked off and what we've blown up in this system already? Good grief. So yeah, I think that the vengeful part is escalating. I wonder if it gets madder the more things that you destroy of it. Could be AI progress related, but that's a big hike. Big hike. This is like 400 or something when we came in here. Anyway, got to get set up just in case the super unfriendlies show up quicker than I expect. As it turns out, the hunter group never came, and I think it might have been because of how fast I took over the system. I've noticed that they take a few minutes to get there, usually, and I don't know where they are right now even. So there's somewhere that I don't currently have scouted, and they're just going to keep building up, which, okay, that's a problem, but it's a problem for another time, and the more powerful I get, the easier to be able to deal with it. Of course, I've still got Armored Warhead ready in Melpomene if I need it. So Saturn is all up and set, and we have added the Needler Mark V turrets to all of our planets. Meanwhile, I did hit the data center and the civilian leader in Utapau, and we're past the 8-hour mark, but I did hit it before then, and we've been trickling downwards. So we're at 129, 87 is the floor, so we were more than 50 over the floor. Right now we're 42 over the floor. That is good, but of course we have more systems to take. Still, even after taking all of those, that would put us up to 209, and that's not counting how it's going down. I'm guessing right now that our floor is going to end up just over 100. I knocked out the special forces posts all around and went in to purge almost everything from Ganymede and Viking. And then I went to hack in here and get the flak turrets, and then it occurred to me, I don't even know if we can. But fortunately, after looking at things, here we are all set up. We've knocked out the barracks, everything else in here, and there's our Mark IV scout drone that I'll move somewhere else because it's been in here for a very long time. This is the last planet that we scouted. So here's the hacker, and if we look at the fabricator hacker, a little less than halfway down, it says this same device also works on core turret controllers. So that's the one we've got, and I was thinking it might be the advanced constructor hacker, which that costs 100. So, and we could use this to hack the, you know, the starship constructors. I've never done that before. I may actually think about it in this game because we're going to have a lot of hacking. So I may want to do that. We'll see. We're going to do this one first. Fabricator. And we're going to go ahead and throw that down. Right here is a good spot within the shielding. And boom, now all of this is going to come out. And I could try to move my ships on somewhere else, attack somewhere else while this is going on. I'd probably get away with it. But I think I'm just going to play it safe in here. I'm not in a huge hurry. Obviously, the AI is going to keep getting more reinforcements and everything as time goes on. But, I mean, we're talking about 5 minutes here. To an extent, time is actually on my side. Because what's going to happen is, you know, the Spire civilian leaders will get more time to work the AI progress down. So, I think the passage of time, CPAs are going to get stronger and everything, but it's only very slightly against me. And so our frigates are going to do a great deal of damage here. And I expect this to go very smoothly. Alright, hack is successful. Let's see what they send at us. They did send out a tachyon thing and eventually destroyed my scout, but of course I'll just rebuild it. And let's see here. Not all that much, really. Okay, we'll clean that up fairly quickly. I do want to take a look at one thing, though, because now what we got there was the flak turrets. And these, I think, are going to be even more significant than the other ones because, yeah, I've got to rebuild some mines. Big deal. Because of the flak ones having increased range, I'm going to look at the normal ones here for a bit. Now, they do increase the attack. The attack doesn't increase quite as much as the other turrets, I don't think. But what they compensate for that is increased range. So 5,000, 6, 7, 8. And then if we look at these, of course, it's 9,000. And I think it really serves to focus their firepower. Because you can see here, they're actually... The lightning turrets stay at the same range. And just increase their attack. So the flak turrets are actually behind them now. Usually it's about Mark 3, they're just in front, Mark 4 just behind, and now they're significantly behind. And the flak turrets are normally the first combat turret that gets hit. And now they don't have to do that. And this is even more powerful in those handful of systems that we have to split 2 different paths. I think Giannis is one of them. Yeah, because normally we'd have a group of flak here, a group of flak over here, because their range is so short, they've got to protect in each direction. They don't have to dilute the firepower now. They're sitting right back here, and they can cover the whole thing just like the lightning turrets do. So, I think this is going to be one of the more powerful acquisitions that I've gotten. The last couple sessions have been on the long side for sure, so I'm going to cut this off here. But of course, from the next sort of path here, I mean, we have cleared out the final last, for sure, Spire Civilian Leader and Data Center. So I'm going to want to hit Calliope. That's really the last easy one, if you will. Then I've got to get Aurora and clear this stuff out. Get Varda and clear this stuff out. And then Coruscant. And that's only 4 systems, but it's probably going to take some time yet to do it. We're probably less than an hour away from the next CPA. That'll probably hit the next session, I'm going to guess. We are narrowing it down, but still quite a bit of work to do. We'll definitely continue on, but until then, thanks for watching, everybody. More AI War will continue.